Okay, nice.
Awesome.
Everything you say will be recorded.
Right. Um, Probably I'm gonna introduce the session itself. So thanks for having us. Zoe is here as well, and she gonna explain everything about building mini apps, especially on Base and also on Forecaster. And then, yeah, pretty excited about this week. On my side, I'm the founder of Dev3Pack, so I'm leading a community of women and student developers coming from Web2 who want to switch, like to be into Web3 development itself. And so I will be the main host during this week. So to prepare some workshop to get ready for the buildathon that will happen from 25 April to 11 May, something like this. So yeah, pretty excited about everything during this week and upcoming things too. And so yeah, I will let's Sohei introduce herself and yeah, let's go.
Thank you, Celine. Hi, everyone. I'm Sohi. I am Base DevRel. I started with Base about, I think, almost a month ago now. It's been a bit of a whirlwind. Prior to that, I've been a front-end developer for most of my career. So today we're going to go into mini apps and what are mini apps. So first off, I want to go through let's get to the very root level. Like, what is Farcaster? I know that's a big question. I've actually been asked quite a bit. So I thought it'd be cool if I'm going to share my screen and we're just going to go through like what a social, like for the very basics. So Farcaster itself is a
So
decentralized,
give me one
yeah.
second to add your screen. So
Oh,
really,
okay. I'm so sorry.
no problem at all. I'm just gonna play the intro video really quick, and then I'm gonna add your presentation to the stage, and then I'm gonna turn off my screen and let you guys take it away.
Okay, sounds good.
No problem, no problem. So
Let's
first, I'll just say welcome home and welcome to Base. Thank you so much, Celine and Dev3Pack, for hosting this week's workshop. We really appreciate you. And Sohi, thank you so much for joining us for today's workshop. So I'm going to play this little intro video just for fun. I have to. I love it.
I love the music. It's so cool.
It's incredible. Community created content right there.
Oh, I love it. I love the bass community.
Me too. They are the best. All right, I'll let you guys take it away. I'll be here the whole time, so if anything happens with screens or whatever, I'll be able to add them back to the stage. But Sohi, you have the floor.
Okay, great. Thanks. So we're going to be building a mini app today, but I want to go to the very root level of this whole thing and like what is Farcaster, what is decentralized social media, so and why it's important. Because I think it's easy for me to say, oh, mini apps are easy to build, spin up, you can get easy distribution. If you don't know like where they're going to live or what Farcaster is, I can understand how that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So let's just get to the root of it. So Farcaster itself is decentralized social media. So every time that you go on, for example, I'm just going to show X for now. When I go through this X feed, this is my feed. However, as a developer, and I can see myself, that's creepy. As a developer, I don't really get access to this data that you see here, like from these people, like when they're tweeting, what they like, all that sort of stuff. I don't get access to that. And this is just like the same. This is Warp, but this is Warpcaster, and all this data I get access to. So X, Threads, Instagram, these are all like walled gardens. We can't access what our users are doing there. But when we use tools like Farcaster, which is what I'm looking at right now, I get access to all of this. And that's why mini apps are super important, because I'm not asking my user to do something new. I'm actually just getting them to do something that they're already doing. I'm already scrolling on these apps. So why not make a post an app, which is a mini app? So that hopefully addresses like the what is Farcaster part of it. If anyone has any questions, please just let me know. Then the point is like, okay, now that we've got that, like what is a mini app? So a mini app is just an app that lives within the social feed that you can actually access directly. So for example, I can go here and just open this random mini app, and I can interact with that straight away. And that's what that's what all mini apps are. So it's just a way for me to be able to click on it within the social feed, open it, and then access it as well.
And if I can add something, Forecasters is really, really relevant. Also, if you want to test application and get your first user,
Hmm.
because you can install like a feedback loop really quickly and improve your application very quickly through this way. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's amazing.
That's a really good point, Celine. So with mini apps, because they are directly within the feed and your users aren't really going out of their way to see anything, like go out of their way, you're able to really control like the experiences that they have. And they can use it and they can share it and they can also, because you've shared it yourself, you can actually get feedback from it quicker. You're able to iterate faster. You can also just test out, like maybe you're building a bigger app and you want to test out just how one feature would work. This is also a really good way to do that. So let's just get started. I am going to use two particular guides today. So on Friday, we launched a guide called Developer's Guide to Effective AI Prompting. And then the second one we just launched just before is called Thinking Social. So I'm going to be using both of these guides to help me first of all think about how do I build a social app? Because one thing that's important to remember is like when we're in the social feed, there's access to data that can make our apps more powerful. There are social actions that already exist within the app, things like sharing, maybe competition, gamification, like these things already exist in the social media realm. And you can use that all within your app to make it better. So I'm going to create the idea for me today is to create an app that reminds people to drink a glass of water every 1 to 2 hours or so, so that they have a healthy habit. It's a very simple app, nothing too crazy. And the way that I'm going to do this now is I'm going to Thinking Social and I'm going to the section where it says pressure test my idea. So this is a prompt that I use to try and validate my ideas. So if I just copy this prompt here, this is ChatGPT, I'm going to paste it in, take my sentence directly. Here, I'm sort of working with AI to help me sort of recognize like, is it a good idea? Is it sticky? Will people use this more often? And how can I make it better? Use this sort of use the tool like the Thinking Social framework. Use it for like even just discovering ways to better your idea or features for your idea that would make it more valid in a social feed. So I get all this feedback back. It feels one-sided. Consider evolving the app to foster social interactions and richer content flow. So things like buddy challenges, community groups, or leaderboards and events, and custom reminders. So letting friends remind each other to drink water, or maybe having like a buddy system. Like these are really good. Like you can already see how this leverages social media to its like to as much as it can because you're creating that togetherness within the app. Okay, so now that I have this, I've got an idea. I've got something like content, drink logs, streak badges. We can cover streak badges today. I won't be able to build all of the features, but we can definitely try. So the way I've started my app is I've just run npx create on-chain mini. Just for the sake of today's demo, I've already run that. So I've already scaffolded my project. Here it is. So when you guys run it, you'll have, I'll just double check. I'm running my server. Nope, I'm not. That's fine. So just gonna run that right now. Great. So we'll have localhost here. So when you first run npx create on-chain mini, this is what you'll get. We do actually have two templates. We have a snake game, and we also just have this very simple app as well. So when I start from here, in my AI prompting guide, I actually go directly to, I've actually set up my cursor rules as well. I'm going to create my project documentation. The reason why project documentation is super important is because AI, like the way that, for lack of a better term at the moment for myself, is like how AI sees your code is by giving it context. So you always want to create like a file that is up to date with how the project is evolving, the features that it has, and things like that, because when you prompt it and you can give it context, it's a lot more powerful. When you just prompt AI, but you don't really give it enough in the prompt, or you don't really give it enough context, it's going to, the way that it works, it's going to try and fill in the blanks itself. So it's going to go a bit wayward or hallucinate. That's what you're actually, that's why it's happening. It can still happen even with context, but you're trying to limit it as much as possible. So I'm going to create just going to copy and paste this because all I want is just an instructions markdown here that will tell me all about my project. So that's being created at the moment. Does anyone have questions so far?
All good.
Oh,
That's
good.
nice.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. So while that's happening, let me
I
just go
will
through
say,
other.
just
Yeah.
a little reminder for everyone, make sure that you are sending in your base names. I want to see every base name in the chat here. Make sure you're sending questions as well. If you don't have a base name, ask us how to get a base name, send your ENS, send your ETH address. We'll help you get a base name.
Awesome. So while that's getting written for us, I can touch a bit more about the Thinking Social Guide. So part of this guide is like once we've pressure tested our idea, let's just say that we take a feature and we amend the idea based on what the AI said to us. Is like, hey, like create like a buddy system or maybe a competition with a group of friends. You can actually go through and use these different ways of like social structures. You can use these different prompts to sort of see, can an identity playground sort of be used within my app? An app that a mini app that I really love um, was about like what aura you were, and it really did a good job at an identity playground. It gave a way that for people to express themselves and share their identity within the app. So like I think I was a topaz, and I remember it was going quite viral within the Farcaster community, because when someone sees themselves within your app, that is something that they want to share, and that means that they're more willing to share it. They've got like shareable content, so then more people want to see, oh, I wonder what I am. It builds on that curiosity. So I think this is all done now. Yes, I'm going to accept. Awesome. So if I go down to my instructions markdown, here I have an overview of just a really basic mini kit app. It has, I actually wrote some user stories. So it has authentication, water tracking, blockchain integrations, forecast integrations, and UI UX. So this gives us a really good starting point about why these things matter. Like now from here, I'm going to start to build out my API endpoints, for example, because I want users to be able to, when they log in, they want to say how much water they've drank today. So I will then just open up a new chat because I accidentally closed that one, not for any reason. Good. I've actually written some prompts here that I use. Here we go. I need to implement an API endpoint for my project using Redis, and I've given it the API endpoints that we want. An endpoint to store how much water a user has drank, how much, how many streaks a user has completed. This is the really important part. I define what a streak is so that the AI knows exactly what to look for, because streak just doesn't it doesn't give it enough information. So saying, hey, like this is what I mean. Like a streak is defined by fulfilling the 8-glass requirement daily. So they have to have 8 glasses in order to be counted as a streak. I can copy this. I can copy this prompt
Someone has a
itself.
question regarding of if you are running your MCP with in Cursor with ChatGPT.
No, I'm not running MCP. I actually am just going to, I'll be showing you that in a second, but I'm just leveraging like the docs, the llm.text that we have available. So both minikit and both on-chain-kit have llm.text files, and you can just add them directly in your cursor, and I'll show you that in a second. I was just also going to show you guys like all the prompts that I have. Well, yes, I have written them out. They actually came directly from my AI guide. So if I go to like effective prompting strategies, I've just used directly, I've used, I think, like the component integration example. And then I've just pulled out the things and I put an API instead. Just to show you guys that you can really just do this any way that you would like. So I'm going to add this one. I'm also going to just add the page. So when I add things here, or like from the symbol, I'm just giving it extra context. So I'm just going to run this. Great. Just so you know, prior to this, I set up my env variables. So it already has like the Redis URL and the Redis API key for this all to work. I always feel a little strange sometimes because you're waiting for the AI to finish. And I'm like, what do I do? It's like, I don't know if anyone else gets a bit nervous, but it's like, what do I do with my hands? Like that sort of feeling. Great. So it's just adding the API endpoint. And it's also setting up our client. So it knows already that we have Redis set up, and that is just something that comes out of the box from minikit directly. So I didn't have to install anything there.
Have a question. Is it relevant to use minikits for building Web2 application too, or only in Web3?
Well, the beautiful thing about minikit is the fact that it's just an XJS app with the add-on of Web3. So if you just want to build a normal web, like nothing to do with a mini app, nothing to do with crypto itself, you could it's just an XJS app. So that's it. There's nothing that I wish I could say it's a bit more special. I mean, but it's very straightforward. So you wouldn't necessarily need minikit, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Another question. How are you keeping your API secure in Cursor?
How am I keeping my API secure in Cursor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so all my projects, I don't have my API keys up per project. They're not, I'm not sharing them with other projects and stuff. And a lot of the demos that I'm using, like I will not keep those, like just for demo purposes, I'll just change them up every now and again. But if they're in Cursor, they're not getting shared like with anything. So I hope that answers the question.
Let's see.
Yeah, I guess. I feel a little blind at the moment because I can't see. Celine is so wonderful at the moment, and she's being my
Yes, I
eyes for the
answer it.
chat. Yeah, so I'm like, I
All
feel
good.
like I'm
I
just,
answer it.
I feel like I'm just talking to my my cursor at the moment. It's kind of weird. Awesome. So here we have, like, as you can see, that took a little while because it managed to do quite a bit. We got our Redis instance where it's water tracking. We've got our routes, our API route there. And then we were updating our instructions markdown because remember, we want to keep this file as up to date as possible. Now let's create a simple component. Perfect. So we have a component here called water tracker now. Awesome. So what we can do here is run space tracking. If I go to page, I could just prompt this, but just because it'd probably be a little easier. In your page component, all you have to do is you can just switch out what is there, like what is shipped out of box, and just add your new component in. So it is water tracking. Perfect. Then I'm going to tab again, and it's imported, and I can get rid of these two because they're no longer needed, as well as active tabs. And I hit save. And then let's go see what we get with our mini app. So localhost. Great. And if I add water, awesome. We have a component and we won't update. So let's see why that is happening. It's got no errors in the console and no errors in our terminal, which is good. Double check that it hasn't got anything to do with this one. No, that's okay. So lucky for me, I have debugging with AI. So what I can do is I can just copy this really. Why I copy so much of like those prompts and the way that it works, it makes it a little easier in my mind when I am I'm just gonna add this one. It makes it a little easier in my mind to know how to prep to talk to the agent. It's as much as it is about knowing how to code or not knowing how to code, it's really just about communication and understanding what your clear outcome should be. So if I've encountered an issue with my code, so expected behavior. So the expected behavior for me is when I click, I think it was drink water. Oh, add water, sorry. When I click add water, the counter should increase.
Just replying to someone on the chat. So
Yeah.
she is using a cursor.
Yes. Yes, I am. And the actual behavior when I click.
Probably you can zoom a bit to.
Oh, okay.
You can. No worries. That's fine.
I'm not sure if I can. Is that a bit better?
Yeah. So
Okay.
far.
Okay. No, we don't have error messages, and let's just see where this is a good prompt for myself. Do I have any relevant code? So let's go see. Great. So I pasted some lines of code so it knows some relevant code. And then I can also say purposes. Which is just my FID. So this should help us debug and see what's actually gone wrong here. Yeah, perfect. So I've tried to keep this as live as possible. So that's why I was like, just because I wanted to show you guys how easy it is to debug. I know there's a lot of vibe coders, and sometimes it can be a little bit daunting sometimes when there's a lot of new things and you're not sure like why it's not working. And I really get that. That's why using the like structured debugging prompts has been really helpful, especially even for me sometimes, because just like you saw before, I was able to say, oh yeah, like I should give it that code. That would give it more context. Great. So it's just started an extra server for me. Didn't need to, but it's just trying to be helpful. What can I say? Awesome. It's running. Still have a bit of an error here. And that's okay because I'm going to stop that one, and I am going to double check that the changes have been implemented. Okay, great. So I've stopped the server and I'm just back on here.
Just to let you know, right now we are in a full screen because I really think it's better for
Oh,
for the session. So yeah, just to let you know.
okay, okay. Awesome. Of course. So demo gods don't like me today. That is completely fine because we will get this working. Not that I'm sweating or anything. Okay, so sorry, I forgot to speak. So at the moment, I'm just going to try and debug like why this isn't actually being done correctly. When the user is clicking, not firing the add water. Sometimes when I get in a bind, like I can't figure out like why it's not working or what's not working, I can also ask Cursor, like, can you tell me what prompts, like what consoles you need in order to help me build what I need to get done? Okay. And we're just going to check that the Redis implementation is correctly handling everything. I guess when people are coding or using Cursor, do you have any tips for me?
Nothing on the chat.
Nothing? Okay, cool.
Take your time. No worries. That's fine.
So it's going through to see like what's happening today, like what not happening today, but making sure that the implementation is correct. Is it Redis? Do we not have it set up correctly? And then it is going for it's just adding consoles at the moment. It takes a little while sometimes. It could be that my FID is invalid, but I'm pretty sure that's my FID. Okay, great. Now, you don't always necessarily have to accept all the changes straight away. You can actually, it's really lovely, it's giving me an emergency debug button. Okay, great. So we've now got this working. So what I was going to say is like, you don't always have to accept the changes straight away to test them. you can just test first and then accept, like check that it works, because just in case it didn't work and this went all south, we would be able to, I would still be able to talk to it and be like, and sort of work out together like what's happening. Great. So we have that, we have the add water function now, which is updating, and we have the current streak, which is 0 days, which is fine. Here you can see that we're sending the payload. So we have our FID, the increment, and the date. So this is the stuff that, this is the data that we're sending over to Redis. And you can see like when I pass in my FID, that will be the unique identifier for my users, and a date, then I'm able to sort of, using that, I'm able to sort of figure out, okay, like what is their current water count and how many days have they been doing this for. Okay, this all looks really normal. So the second part is like, how do I, thinking back to what the what our first thing was about, how do we make this like social? Because it's not fun just me like opening an app and being like, yeah, I drank water. It's kind of boring, right? So we want to leverage push to social. So at key milestones, we want to prompt users to share their achievements on Farcaster with templated messages. So we want to do it after the user logs their first glass of water, their fourth and their eighth glass of water. We need a share button that preemptively creates the cast for the user to share with their friends. Here, I'm actually referencing directly the Farcaster docs, and I've given, you can give AI like also just example code. So if you go to the docs and you take some of that code, it gives it more understanding. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it in here. I don't want to really start with that line. So I want to start create a share button component that at key milestones, and then we're going to hit it. Perfect. So we're just leveraging the Farcaster Frames SDK, which you can still use within Minikit as well. So all the things that you would normally get just using the Farcaster Frames SDK, you can use them within Minikit, and then you can get a bit more as well. So all it's saying, it's going to confirm by checking the documentation that I passed through. When you add and you put a link in, that gives it access to the docs. I think someone was asking me about MCP. I'm not using MCP today, like I said before, but just using sometimes like the LLM.text or the at the actual documentation, at least for what I'm doing, has been pretty good. But of course, I would love to test out some MCP stuff soon.
From tomorrow, we have a special session about it.
Oh, great!
Yes, base MCP.
Are you going to be running that, Celine? Or?
It's gonna be with Snera.
Oh, awesome. I'll
Yeah.
have to watch that. I've been really liking the Homebase, all the Homebase workshops. They've been really great.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. I just came in to say, keep sending those base names. Incredible session so far, but keep on sending those base names. I want to see more base names in the chat. Let's go, people, and more questions. While you have Sohi here, please keep asking questions.
Yes, please ask me all the questions, because right now it feels like I'm talking to my computer by myself. And Celine, which is lovely. Awesome. So let's see. All right. So we have a share button. Our share button should be in our water tracker. Let's double check. Yep. And if I double check this one, so this is really cool. And I connect my wallet. So I can share on Podcaster now.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And I can cast. Here we go. Now, because we're using localhost at the moment, like we wouldn't want this, like that experience that we just had. We wouldn't, sorry, I'm just sharing the wrong one. We wouldn't necessarily want that share to be taking us out of our app. So with MiniKit, we do actually have a function that will help you with that, and it's called Open URL. But I'm going to double check. I'll use Open URL. So all you have to do is just import this, and you'll be able to make sure that the user stays within the Farcaster as well. So I'm in my share button. See where it says window.open? We can just change this one to use Open URL and remove that one. And we're going to have to import it as well. And it knows it. Yes. I accidentally took too many words. Just open URL, and then it's complaining. Oh, we don't need blank. There we go. I wonder why that's happening here. So if I look here, that's really strange.
And just to let you know, to people who are listening, so uh, also on Farcaster is not only about having buttons, it's also about having notifications. So when you want to get notified for something special, or I don't know, one of your friends I've done something, you can be notified to what happened,
Yeah.
etc. And it's like a real social graph behind everything. So it's really powerful for people who want to leverage marketing, target the right people, and so on.
Yeah, that's correct. You can definitely send. MiniKit actually just comes with. If I go to the API, you can see the notify route. This already, like I didn't do any of this. It just comes directly already made. So you have an example of how to send a notification straight away. And then this one, for some reason, I need to double check like what's happening here. But you can actually use the. I'm not sure why that's not working today. But what would happen is like I am able to open within the app as well. So just to test it out so far, what I can do is I'm going to run a command in. There we go. I'm just going to clear, and then I'm just going to run Vercel. I already have the Vercel CLI set up. And at the moment, when I run Vercel, it's going to deploy my project again, and then I'll have a URL already, so I can test this out to see how it's working within the Barcaster, within Warpcast itself. So this is just deploying. Does anyone have any questions so far?
No, nothing for the moment.
No.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of different when we are running a session on StreamYard rather than Zoom, etc., because you don't have directly the interaction, except on comments. So yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it's always a bit. It's always. It's also like why when you're watching someone. Sometimes if it's new, it's like hard to know what to ask. You know?
Yeah, that's true. You don't know, yes, what to,
Yeah,
how to start
which
really and so
is
on. Yeah.
also completely fine. Okay, so if I refresh this,
I can drop a list of mini apps like mini apps ID
mhm,
on the chat.
yeah, and I double check. Okay, great. So I want to promote to production. Just so you guys know, like you don't always want to, but just because for today, I want to promote it to production because then I'll be able to have like a proper URL that I can go and test directly in the Farcaster debugging tools. So this is just going ahead. But yeah, as Celine was saying, there's so much that you can do with mini apps. It's not just like you yourself sharing. You can also have notifications. For example, I built this. I wonder if it will. Hopefully, maybe it will open. I For one of my demos, I built this app called Mini Headspace. I wonder if it will open for me. Nope, that's okay. If I just go to my link, you can see here, if I launch it, I can connect my wallet. And it's just there to tell people how to like remember to meditate. And if I look at my notifications, I can see, here we go. I have a daily reminder every day to take a moment to breathe and center myself. So you can see how like doing all of this can sort of build like stickier apps because I'm already getting notifications of different things that my friends are doing or they're posting. And then on top of that, I'm also getting notifications for my apps. Like one of the biggest ones that I'm sure many people know about is about Farmville. So like the farming game, you always get a notification when your crops are ready. And it's a bit of controversy between stat.
Yes, funny stuff,
uh,
drama.
yeah, I'm not getting involved in that. I have no comments on this. Awesome. So I'm going to copy this, go to my webcast tools. I will preview to see what it looks like. Open my URL as mini app, connect my wallet. Here we go, and I can add
Statuette
water.
just commented,
Pardon?
Statuette just commented and said, like for Fabio, I guess. Controversy.
I have no comments. I'm not getting involved in this. So as you can see, we have, just because I've deployed it, I've got my URL here. If I hit share on Farcaster, it will open the extra window, but it will do that thing that we just showed before where it prompts the thing. And what you can actually do is what we want is in our app, we want someone to prompt someone else, so we could actually add them. We can get them to, maybe we create a feature where the user can, oops, I'm so sorry, so sorry. Maybe we want to add a feature instead of them just sharing, because we won't get this again. Oh, we've stopped the server. So npm run dev. I just thought it's about 40 minutes, so we've got a demo up and running. So it's not as daunting as many people think. which is a nice thing, especially if you're just starting. Just so you know, like you can keep going and get pretty far. So if you guys remember, we're only going to be able to show the share at 4, at 1, at 4, and 8. Um, but yeah, this has been building like a mini app from start to finish because I want to make sure I do answer some questions. So please feel free. I'll stop sharing.
So yeah, basically, thank you for everything. I think it's great to start building um, simple things like this and try to understand the process, how things work with Sparkcasters itself. And I think it was a great example for that. So thank you. I don't know. I don't see a question itself. So as you mentioned, probably because it's something new for a few people, and then they don't know really what to ask itself, and that's completely understandable too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's completely okay as well. When I like one thing I'm really happy about is we have a very, very active community in the Discord for MiniKit. And there are a lot of builders there who are always happy to answer your questions. I'm also very active there, just because I like seeing what people are building. I'll share the link with you, Celine, I think in our chat, and maybe you can post it. Is that okay?
Yeah, and another thing probably good to mention is about incentive around building mini apps. So basically on Forecaster, every week the 25 best mini apps will be rewarded. So it's like this every week. Also, Talent Protocol rewards the 100 first builders on base every week too. So yeah, there are a lot of incentive around that. And I can put a tweet, like I made an article about it, about the
Oh,
different initiative to build on base, and also get rewarded if you want to.
yeah, that's really cool. I think exactly what you just said. Like that's something that like skips my mind as well. The fact that you as builders, like if you get into the top 25, you get rewarded from podcast to the protocol itself. Also, like with base, you have the talent protocol, things like that. And if this is something that we are starting base batches next week as well. So if you're building a mini app and you're like, hey, like maybe I want to build this, we'll have a mini app track. So I know that there's going to be possibility for funding, support. I'll be supporting as well. So always feel free to reach out to me. Oh, actually, I do remember one question I had from this morning. I'm sorry. I wrote it down and I forgot to read it again. Ghost Festival, I'm not sure if you're in the chat, but you did ask me today about 3JS. So if you are wanting to, just like how I removed the demo components, it's a component called demo component. You can remove demo component and then add whatever you want, including like a 3JS scene, if that's what you want to do, which is just a 3D rendering library for the web. I remember they asked me this morning, and I just wanted to make sure I covered that as well.
All right, nice. And something I wanted to mention too is about above all incentive and so on. Something interesting with base 2 is the growth. Like I mean, the community is really active. Some users are in this layer 2, and the thing is, when you want to go viral, it's a good way to go, to
Mhm.
do it and build on this chain itself. So yeah, don't miss this opportunity, and especially starting during the build-a-thon. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely don't miss the opportunity and leverage all the tools that you have available. If you're completely new but you are using Cursor or Windsurfer or whatever AI tools, like use the prompt guides that we have. You can sort of feed them directly into like maybe ChatGPT or Claude, whatever you're using, and you can say to it, hey, like this is what I want to do, but I want to, could you write it in this format? And it can do that for you. If you're just getting started and you're a bit like, oh, I don't really know how to do this, how to write this, like I don't even know where to start, don't feel scared. That's why the AI prompts guide is there. Also, just like the thinking social, like really battle test your ideas. Think about how you are leveraging yourself, like the positioning of your app. If it's in the social feed, like do you have you done notifications, but then you don't really want app, you don't want to die, like have death of notifications. I'm sure all of us have muted Duolingo at one point, no matter how good the app is. um, so you want to just be able to not just leverage notifications, but leverage like the fact that you can interact with someone's friends or get their close contacts. That data is available to you.
Nice wrap up.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you
Um,
so much for having me, Celine.
Thank you too for running the session today. And so, yeah, a few people of my community ask if there's gonna be recorded. So yeah, it's recorded, and so you everything will be available on YouTube as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything will be available right on homebase.love. We'll upload the recordings to YouTube, and we will host those recordings right on homebase.love. So we'll break them up into sessions. So each of the workshops have a few different sessions. So we'll make sure that everything is broken up perfectly, so people can just go and watch that one session. So if you want to rewatch Sohi's workshop, feel free to go to homebase.love, and the recording will be up later today, if not tomorrow. And make sure you are still sending your base names, people. I want to see those base names before you leave. And so I do have one question for you. So we
Mhm.
have a lot of builders preparing for base batches coming up here. And I was wondering if you have any specific words of advice for them that you want to make sure that these builders know and are aware of prior to them joining into the base ecosystem and starting to build.
Well, firstly, thank you so much for building on base. That is what I want all builders to know, that everyone is just always so grateful. Inside the company, that's just like the mantra that we have, and I'm really proud of that. And I just want builders to know that they can reach out, that we will be there to support them, that we want them to succeed. So whatever, ask for the things that you need. Like, if don't be scared and just say, hey, like maybe I need this, or I don't understand how to build this out. Really put in the time to leverage the idea that you want. Like start from the end. How do you want to finish the batches? And work backwards. Like work your plan that way. You'll feel a lot more fulfilled, because you'll be able to see exactly like, oh, okay, I actually deployed the thing I thought I was going to deploy, and it works the way that I think it's going to work.
Mm. I love that. Do you think that people should stay focused on one specific mission? So, like maybe it's launching a product or building something new, or maybe they're just experimenting. What do you think base batches is the best for?
I love this question. So I started in Web3, like I started in hackathons, like really just doing a lot of hackathons.
As everybody.
And my yeah, and I love them. And my favorite part about them is the fact that they're there for me to experiment, to see like what I can build under pressure and what can I do, like what can I like what are the creative things that I can do. It's going to like focus on the things that are going to make it feel fulfilling for yourself. So if you want to be creative, you want to take this time in base batches to build something super creative and super niche, go for it. Like that's the way I see it. You're going to do whatever is going to make you feel happiest, because it does make a difference in your product if you have passion and love for it, and people can see that. Because remember, you've got to evangelize your own product, so you've got to love what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that's the part that everyone forgets is they're eventually going to have to be the evangelist for it. So if it's not something they love, it's not something that will last. It's a really good point. And I love that you said experiment first and foremost, because something like ETH Denver, most people go to ETH Denver just to launch a product or a new feature or something like that, whether they participate in the hackathon or not. But we all most likely started at hackathons, and most people do. So it's a good place to just get started, be top of the funnel, experiment, test around, meet new people, and just have fun. So really great advice. Really glad that you could join us today. Celine, do you have any more questions for Sohi?
No, just to say, it is great to have this initiative because you have more time to build, contrary to being in IRL hackathon like
Mm.
this Google, for example. So yeah, you have the time to explore what you want to do and build something and not flourish for you.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
true.
exactly. You have the time, so make the most of it.
Yeah, really.
I completely agree. That's all for today. We only had one session today. The rest of the week, we actually, I think I've been adding an extra hour onto some of the sessions, so they'll be going a little bit. The rest of the sessions this week will be going a little bit longer than today. But really glad for everyone who joined us today. Thank you so much for hosting today, Celine. Thank you so much for the workshop today, Sohi. And I will see you all again very soon. Celine, I'll see you again tomorrow.
Yeah. See you
Thanks so
tomorrow.
much, everyone. Thank
Thanks
you.
for doing.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you all.